What's going on, everybody? This is the Part-Time Artist Podcast, and this is episode 183. And last episode was 182, ironically, and today I will be seeing Blink 182, the one and only, later. So I'm super excited about that. Also super excited to get into the show today. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you guys that I have some links in the episode description. Check out DistroKid link. That's a service that I use to get all my tunes on streaming services, even though I highly recommend Bandcamp. I'm a Bandcamper. Aside from that, Visible, if you need a new cell phone plan, Visible is super cheap. I think if you use my code, you get your first month free, and you give me a free month, which is cool. Shout out to the few people that have been doing that. It's been really helpful. Check out Visible. I mean, you can set up a new cell phone plan from the toilet. Honestly, it takes no time if you have Wi-Fi, obviously. What else? I have a way to donate if you would like to do that, but honestly, the most coolest thing that you could do is subscribe on YouTube. YouTube is my community. It is my home where I'm putting everything out to share with you guys, to the things that I learned, to empower you guys. So the podcast is just a small piece of that pie on my YouTube. I got tons of other videos coming out. I did a little Shania Twain cover recently. Hopefully you guys check that out. That's really it's really cute and I love it. Also, before I forget, at the beginning of the month, I went to Camp Punksylvania. Okay, guys, I still got the wristbands here. Camp Punksylvania. I got the fucking tattoo right here. Camp Punksylvania. Guys, Camp Punksylvania is one of the best kept secrets right now, and I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. If you are remotely into alternative music, punk music, this 3-day festival in the Poconos is like one of the most perfect situations for music. There's no cops. There's no bullshit. You pitch a tent, you hang out for a couple nights, and then you go on your merry way. It is so community oriented. It was the coolest experience around music that I've ever been a part of. So I cannot thank those festival organizers enough, Riot Squad Media. That is a gem. So if you are on the East Coast, in the tri-state area, you need to figure out how you can get your ass to Camp Punksylvania, because that is just the coolest thing in the world. I just posted my review on Punk News for it. But it hasn't been posted yet. I just did it a couple hours ago. So they got to review that and put that up there. But yeah, that was fucking awesome. And since then, I've been working at summer camps. So I've just been in a camp mood. I'm a fucking camper, dude. And aside from that, I just want to give you guys a heads up on what I have coming up in my world, which is next week, the 31st, is going to be my birthday. I'm turning 32. And on that day, I have a couple cool things happening. One, I'm going to release a Knucklehead EP. I have 2 EPs left on the burner, and then Knucklehead is going bye-bye. So this is the first of a 2-part series here, and the first EP is going to be released next Wednesday on my birthday. And also, I am playing at Kung Fu Necktie. I had to remember. I was saying, don't want to say it wrong. I'm playing at Kung Fu Necktie with War Park on Wednesday. So if you're in Philly, in town, and you want to party, come up to Kung Fu Necktie. We are opening the show for Unwed Sailor and Maserati, two really cool bands that we actually fit really well with. So it's really going to be a cool night. Kung Fu Necktie is awesome. It's a Wednesday. What else are you doing? Besides, I don't know, watching the Phillies or whatever the fuck you do in Philly. But point is, let's party. All right. And speaking of party, let's start the show here. All right, I have with me a very, very special guest, a fellow statesman here in Pennsylvania. I have with me the one and only Jay Star. Jay, thank you so much for coming on the show here. Now, before we get into anything, do we want to explain what's going on with your face? Just to clear the air here. Although it would be funny if we just didn't address it at all.
That's what I wanted to do. I thought we just never covered it nice. I'm just covered in dread. It's actually all over my body. But me and a friend of mine, I hit 5,000 followers on TikTok, and I was like, I'm trying to be like interactive with the community. So I was like, okay, what should I do for this? And then one of my friends was like, let's bake a cake. And I was like, okay. So then obviously when you bake a cake, you smush the cake in your face because that's, you know, I'm an entertainer, fun, yeah. You know, so we smushed the cake in my face, got some good footage, and I'm gonna make my face being smushed by the cake a poster, and I'm gonna monetize my grief.
Wow. Guys, this is like expert like marketing 101 here. You should be teaching a course to all of us artists out there. I'm just glad for the first time on this show I'm not the only one that looks like a clown. So thank you for pairing me up. TikTok, and wow. Yeah, this is just shit that is, to those of us like making music and stuff, it's like, all right, this is your toolkit now. You need to learn, you know, the circle of fifths, but you also need to learn hashtags, it seems like. Now, you're hailing though from I was going to say the island of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. What the fuck is going on over there? Let's actually just start it with, give me one thing underrated and one thing overrated with Pennsylvania.
Oh man, I think one thing underrated about Pennsylvania is oh my god, I'm gonna be real, I don't have much state pride.
It's very hard. It's so hard, like, dude.
I think one thing that's underrated is probably I think the mountains. They're beautiful. I don't really, it's really corny, but I don't really know what else. Yeah, I'm on the phone right now. I think this is a good time to emphasize I'm 18 and I do all this by myself, so I'm like I don't have like a professional setup. So if you hear knocks, hear screams or gunshots, it's because I live in a very rowdy environment. But one thing underrated would probably, I'm just going to say the mountains and like the landscapes. Very pretty to look at, and I live near the mountains. And one thing overrated is probably everything that they say about Pennsylvania.
Probably.
Because I don't, you know, when someone asks about Pennsylvania, like, oh my God, they have cheesesteaks. And it's like, what? They have cheesesteaks too. It's not like a Pennsylvania thing to have cheesesteaks. But there's not much music stuff going on down here. I mean, not in Carlisle. In Philly, Pittsburgh, obviously, it's crazy.
Right, yeah.
And like Pittsburgh has a huge shoegaze scene, pop punk. But Carlisle is a very barren wasteland, I'd say.
Yeah, and you're right, like there, like smack dab in the middle, like right past Harrisburg. It's even in Philly though. It's kind of like, I feel like the shit that people dig about Philly and Pennsylvania, like a lot of people that are from different parts of this country or different parts of the world, like they just won't get it, you know? Like when I just, the other day I came back from New York City into Philly and I was just like pulled over into Wawa and got a smoothie and a cookie. And I was just like, nobody like gets this, like how good this feels to like be home. Like this is Pennsylvania culture, pulling over into a Wawa and getting a smoothie and a cookie. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's a little depressing that like our culture is just kind of consuming stuff.
Yes.
But I feel like culture is. Like sheets is Pennsylvania culture at this point. I don't know if you know about the sheets, but
of course. Yeah. I went to school out there. I know what you guys have going on, but
it's like, oh yeah, what do you guys want to do tonight? Oh, let's sit at sheets for 7 hours,
right,
and talk. And it's like, yeah, I'm getting, I have a very robust teenage experience, which is sitting at sheets and then it's actually really depressing when I talk about it, because I think that the way that we try to portray ourselves online is definitely more like larger than life. I think for musicians, a lot of the time, it's supposed to be like very animated and entertaining and, energetic. But my actual life is so boring.
And so is Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So like you said, pulling into it, like, when you see a Wawa and you have a smile, you have a grin ear to ear, and it's like, this is the beauty of Pennsylvania. And I do love Wawa and I do love sheets. Yeah. But I don't want to. I have anything else. Right. I want anything else.
What's your favorite way, like out there in Carlisle? What's your favorite way to beat the heat? How do you even do it? Is the answer to everything just sheets?
Yeah, no, literally. Last night, I try to touch grass. I really do, and I promise you that. But I'm an inside boy. I'm a homebody, one would say, I guess. Most of my time is just like, especially the past few weeks, has just been spent sitting in my bedroom, making music, recording videos, editing, live, like 4 hours a night. I've just been in just like a cocoon. Like, I am not going outside, man.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room then. What's your go-to order at Sheetz?
Dude, don't laugh. This is a serious question. We need to take this very seriously.
I know. I already have my answer. It's easy for me.
You go first.
No, well, okay. My go-to order at Sheetz is boring, but it's a salad. It's a salad with buffalo chicken, and I get the Twix milkshake.
Buffalo chicken salad with the Twix milk.
It evens out, right? Like the salad's healthy.
It evens out. Like that's when you go to like a Chinese buffet and you eat 8,000 calories where you get a Diet Pepsi.
Yes, exactly. And the fortune cookie says like, you'll be all right,
No, yeah. The fortune cookie says you will be all right when you're sitting there holding your gut, sweating and crying and just thinking like, what did I do to myself? Yeah. But
so painful.
I don't know. My go-to Sheetz order is usually whatever's the cheapest. So like they have that $6 lunch where you get like 2 subs, half subs for $6, which is great. That's usually my go-to. I don't know. I'm a big hoagie guy.
There we go.
That's actually my nickname is Hoagie. So
when you said subs, I like froze for a second, and then I was like, okay, there we go. Valid.
Oh yeah, Hoagie. Wait, is that a thing where you're from? You only say Hoagie?
Yeah, every sandwich is pretty much a hoagie in Philly.
I'm through. I've been saying subs since I was out of the womb.
I think they say subs in like New York and Jersey. Yeah, because it's what is it? Isn't it Jersey Subs or is it Mike Subs or something?
Jersey Mike Subs?
Jersey Mike Subs, yeah, some shit like that. Whatever.
Pennsylvania.
Not Pennsylvania. It's so funny because I had these questions like, what's your favorite sandwich? What's your favorite ice cream? And all this shit. And I'm just like, I feel like the answer to everything is just Sheetz. So we're just gonna plow ahead. And
look, I'm a big foodie, obviously. So,
did you actually bake your own cake?
Well, me and my friend, I just said obnoxious things to make the video interesting, and they baked the cake. I helped. The eggs were blue. The eggs were blue that we used. Blue eggs. And we ate a bit.
What?
I'm being poisoned. Yeah. But they smushed the cake in my face. We baked the cake, smushed it in my face, covered it in icing. The icing's melted. It's horrible. It's really a disgusting mess.
Was it blue?
But really...
Did it come out blue? Looks like it came out red.
No, the cake... But... Maybe it was blue on the inside. Maybe it was a sad cake. I don't know. It was. I mean, you should see the thing. It was very depressing to look at.
Well, we're all blue on the inside, honestly.
Oh.
Let's get into your music a little bit. We're gonna start like this is such a tried and true. Like we're gonna listen to like the most tried and true. I feel like rock sound today. But before we even get into your tune here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, what do you aim to do with your music, because I look at your Bandcamp, I look at all the music you've made, and you are so involved, like doing pretty much all of the instrumentation. I'm like, from top to bottom. So what is it that compels you to make this kind of music? Like, is there, if you could put like one thing that you aim to do with it?
Make music. I don't know.
Is it just fun?
This is the thing. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not gonna put on like some persona. When I make music, I aim for people to hear it. So like when I make a song, the most important thing to me is, will someone listen to this and enjoy it? And I think that what I try to do is, the biggest achievement to me, the most success that I can have, is creating a sound that I'm proud of, that isn't just pure like commercial, whatever's popular, that also reaches people and is catchy. There's a good melody to it. Sometimes there's a story. Oh, cake fell on my lap. There's a story to it. There's things that are there's things that are me. Like, I'm expressing myself in the music, but it's still listenable. And I think that I fell in love with the guitar when I was 13. We're actually married, and I've been so fascinated with music and the idea of being a rock star and the idea of being successful or famous since I was like 10 years old. Right. I was like, I had the Michael Jackson glove, and I would like dance when I was 6. So I was always just hyper obsessed with music and what music is and how to make it and why people listen to it and why people find it interesting and why people go to shows and why people like, these cultural figures. And I'm just obsessed with it. I think about it 24/7. I think about how I can reach people 24/7. Not a minute goes by that I'm not thinking about like music in my head. And I've realized that like all that corny shit that people say about, there's always a song playing in my head, dude. Like, that's true. It's really true.
Yeah. If you're tuned to it, if you're listening, a lot of people are not listening to the songs that are in their head.
I got mail from Capital One. I'm not going to show my address, but I got mail from Capital One, and I've been using that as a napkin this whole time. I just want everyone to know that. So if you see me moving my arms, it's me wiping icing on a Capital One mailing letter.
No matter how many times I tell Capital One that I want to go paperless, they're going to still send me shit in the mail. They're incredible for that. Shout out to Capital One for just not giving a fuck.
Deforestation, one letter at a time, just hammering it home.
Perfect.
I think there's like obviously a beauty in music and a simplicity in music, and it's one of the only things that I can look at in life and just be like, this is the most amazing thing that has come out of human existence, like, ever. It encapsulates love, joy, sadness. It's something you can very easily do. It's something that anybody can do. And I guess you could make the same argument for like talking. But I don't know. I could go in circles for hours about how like music is like life, man, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say that music is life, man.
With that, let's jump into our first tune here. This tune is called Primadonna. Check it out.
Such a prima donna, you're such a prima donna, couldn't have it any other way. Stuff your face with daddy's money, your face with daddy's money, sitting pretty every fucking day. such a prima donna. You're such a prima donna. Couldn't have it any other way. Stuff your face with daddy's money. Your face with daddy's money. Couldn't have it any other way. You're such a prima donna. You're such a prima donna. Couldn't have it any other way. Fuck yourself with daddy's money. Yourself with daddy's money. Couldn't have it any other way. You're such a prima donna. You're such a prima donna. Couldn't have it any other way. Fuck yourself with daddy's money. Yourself with daddy's money. Couldn't have it any other way.
All right, that tune was called Primadonna, and it's the first song off of J-Star's EP album release called Kick Rocks, which came out May of 2024, only a few months ago. And you already came back with a whole nother release a few weeks ago here in July, actually even 1 week ago, practically. In July. It seems like you just keep fucking putting out music. Is it this thing where you just get an idea and you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna just track this, and then after it's tracked, you're like, all right, I'm just gonna put this out, you know?
I plan things months and months in advance. I have ideas that I wanted to do months in advance, and I think it's just getting the audience for it. But the thing is, I don't really have a huge, I've been building a pretty tight-knit, they'll probably see this video. I've been building a pretty tight-knit community of fans, followers, and I'm trying to be very interactive. So I think that part of it for me is when I feel okay, I can put this out and people are going to see it, enough that it'll have a little boost, then I'll put it out. But even still, I have an idea and I'm just I'm going to do this. I wanted to do my AP that came out in December called Kill Santa. In probably, what was it? In probably June, I was I want to do a Christmas album, and I want it to be I want it to be a very a subverted expectations Christmas record, which is everybody's done that. But I was I'm going to do it because it's fucking awesome, and Santa rocks, and Christmas rocks. So I'm going to do something about it. So then obviously time passed, and it was literally I think November 20th, and I was I haven't recorded anything for this. I need to start right now. And in about 3 days, I recorded my EP and mixed it. So I think it's all about, if I have an idea, I will do it regardless of how difficult and taxing it is. Even the EP that I just put out called Honey, that was not, I finished that 3 days before it was released. So I'm just, I think I have ADHD, and it's not diagnosed, but I am borderline psychotic with how I work. I
think at this point we're all there. I think if you believe in evolution, we're in the evolution of none of us can focus on anything at any point. And for some reason, I think it gets worse as you get older. It doesn't get better.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. But talk to us a little bit about Honey then. I was trying to wrap my head around this. This was your official solo debut, but then I was wait a minute, what the fuck was all this other stuff?
So I think this was the first record where I was I want to express fully what I want to. Okay, when I say solo debut, I mean I'm gonna put out something that I know is not popular. Glam rock is not popular. It's just not No, you don't see any band being guess the drummer challenge, and then they play, a T-Rex cover. They're not doing that.
Right. So T-Rex, yeah.
Will probably tank, but I'm gonna put it out, and I just don't care. So when I say solo debut, I kind of just mean something that I know that I want to do and only I want to do. But I also want to point out that follow them on Instagram. They're called Blinking Sideways. They did the cover art for that EP, and all the streaming money of that EP is going to go to PA Trans Equity, which is a charity that helps out trans folks in Pennsylvania. So stream that EP. But yeah, I guess what I mean to say is when I said official solo debut is good marketing.
Right. Okay. Nice. we're really all over the map because we're like, I want to put music out that people can hear, and I was like, well, I did this shit just for me, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just rolling with it, whatever happens. But on that note, like, with this new EP, and we're gonna check out the last couple tunes we're gonna check out is from this new EP. Is there something like specific that you can put your finger on that kind of separates this from the rest of the releases? Because a lot of, I mean, aside from just the artwork alone was just like, oh shit, this is, you know, colorful. This is a statement. You are not on the cover, like a picture of you, where most of the time it has been of you. So what, like, I guess, inspired the different direction, at least conceptually?
Well, I just thought it was more of a rebranding. I went from, you know, JS Black to J-Star, and I was like, I wanted this is to express, this is me. I'm not like, you know, the black and white aesthetic is cool, but it really doesn't exactly fit me. And I was like, I'm colorful. You know, I can be very loud and aggressive, and this is new. This is what you're going to be experiencing from now on. Like more of a character. It isn't just like, you know, a guy. So I was like, let's get weird. Let's get colorful. So I did a contest. So I had fans submit art for the cover.
Whoa.
So I made sure to do, like, make this, but try to make it, you know, a little cartoony. Maybe either, like, I said either cartoony or very realistic. And I got sent in a really beautiful, like, cute, cartoony type cover. And then I got sent in that just hyper realistic hand, like with flowers. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, you know, I thought it was kind of like almost like the death of whatever I was prior to this, like, last month, I guess. I feel different. I feel like a different person. If you look back on videos that I released last year, I act different. I don't know what it was about it, but I was so bored. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not being fully expressive. I'm not really being myself. And I understand it's a bit ironic because, as you can tell, my name's not actually J Star. So it's like, what do you mean you weren't yourself and now you're yourself? You put your last name as Star. But I know
exactly what you mean, because there are, and the way I talk about this shit with other people is maybe a little bit woo-woo, but I like to talk about things in terms of alignment. And there are certain things that happen when we fall in and out of certain alignments. And what I love about artists and people like you and creators is that what we produce, our art, so often signifies where we are. It's a time capsule, especially music. You know, when I go later tonight and see Blink-182, I'm going to see songs, I'm going to hear songs and see these guys that I grew up listening to. So it's an immediate, like, time capsule for them and for me. And, like, we experience that together. And even what you're saying now, it's crazy because I'm going through the same exact shit where next week I'm going to put out, you know, 5-6 songs that I've been sitting on since before the pandemic, you know.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's been so long because I had to learn shit, you know, just like you did, how to mix, how to master. I did the whole thing myself, just like you were doing, the same exact thing. And for some reason, it just never felt like the timing was not right. The timing was not right. And I got to a point where a couple years ago, I saw this artist named Joey Valance, who's like he's kind of like a Beastie Boys,
Tactics.
Yeah, rap rock. I saw these guys at the Riot Fest, and something that they said, and this was a few years ago, but something that they said was just like, You know, we never signed to a record label. As soon as we made music, we just put it out, and now we're standing on this stage. So this is all I can say. If you want to do some shit like that, when you make music, just put it out, just put it out, just put it out. And I was like, damn, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe I just need to like put this shit out, you know? And hearing what you're saying, it feels like the same thing. Like when you get to a certain place, it's just like, I need to put this out. I need to be done with this. I need to be done with this part of my life, you know, where that shit came from, right?
Do you find yourself like hyper obsessing over the way it sounds and the way people are going to perceive it?
For me, it was like I was learning what the fuck I was doing, like while I was doing it. So I would get it to sound good, and then I would be like, wait, these CLA plugins actually, you know, make your EQ better. So then I would remix the whole thing with different plugins, and then I would need to, you know, buy Ozone to master, and then I need to learn how to work Ozone, and then, you know, it was all these things. Yeah.
What's Ozone?
Ozone is this mastering plugin that a lot of people use. It's called Ozone. I think the company is Isotope. Shout out to my engineers out there that DIY mastering.
This is a little controversial, but I don't master my tracks.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, and I don't. I just don't. And I know this is going to sound like, oh my goodness, this is going to sound so outdated and you know, maybe a little mystical, but I think that just that raw sound is better to me.
Yeah.
I feel like is kind of just compressing the shit out of your mix.
Yeah.
And I like it to kind of punch you in the face. And I just, you know, if I yell, I want you to hear me yell. I don't want it to be buried.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, achieving your vision is everything, and being able to educate yourself on mixing, mastering, whatever, like to just get the sound that you want is everything. And when I was doing it myself, it was like I kind of, in the process, even lost like the sound that I wanted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like over just learning all this shit. But now I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm putting this shit the fuck out. So next week, I'm putting out my EP, same exact way you are putting out your EP, and just being like, I am done with this music and that band and that part of my life. I'm going to be reborn, just as you are. And on that note, let's even tap into your rebirth here, which is the first tune on the Honey EP. Yes. It is Sweet Tea. Check it out.
Sick of it.
All right, that tune was called Sweet Tea, and it's jstar.bandcamp.com, JAE star.bandcamp.com. But you really also want to check out this brand new website, which is jstarexplodes.com, where you can check out a music video, Bandcamp, and links to all the streaming services and social medias of JStar here. Now.
Now. The time is now.
The time is now. You put so the first time I listened to your music, it really like brought me back to the first time I heard the White Stripes, and also I have a bunch of like cassettes in my car from like demos and shit from people, and the first White Reaper EP had such a similar sound to this, and I was just like, oh shit, this is really cool. You have this such aggressive tones here, and with this EP in particular, you end it on this like David Bowie type sound, and I just want to know, like, where did your initial sound come from, and where does it feel like your new sound is going to go?
Well, I think that my sound was always inspired by my first record was actually almost a direct ripoff of I Hate Jazz by Mike Kroll.
Okay.
I wanted to make that record, and I kicked myself for not making it, and I thought, how could I tailor this to myself? How could I make this original but still have that vision? So I essentially made that Public Education, the first record I put out, is pretty much an ode to Mike Kroll, because he really got me into recording music. My original sound was I just wanted to be loud and obnoxious. I just wanted to make music that was obnoxiously loud and mean. And then immediately I stopped doing that. And then there was that weird phase gunk, which is odd. But this new sound, I guess, is just me, whatever I'm listening to at the moment. Like, I'm like, sure. I'm not a well organized guy. I'm a wacky guy. I'm covered in cake icing. And this wasn't even, I'm not, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I mean that. I have no clue what I'm doing at all. I was listening to Fame by David Bowie. I can tell you exactly what happened. It was like, this was, I think, May 20th. I listened to Fame by David Bowie 80 times in a row, and I said, I'm going to a glam rock record. And then I listened to T-Rex's Slider. Shout out, if you're watching, you showed me that record. I listened to T-Rex's Slider, the entire record, back to back about 10 times. And I said, this fucking rules. I want to do this so bad. And then I was like, okay, what makes sense? And then I thought J-Star. And then I thought J-Star kicks ass. I like that name. So I said, I'm gonna be a glam rock boy for about a month. So I just did it. I don't know. And I understand that people hear that, and I've talked to a lot of people, and it's like, you can't just like I understand that you need to be very intuitive to be able to just, okay, I'm just going to make more music. I'm just going to switch genres completely. I don't know how I do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being so honest with you. So I guess the answer to that question is just the music, man.
Yeah. And listening to like the evolution of stuff over time, it just seemed like you really were like kind of finding out how to be loud and obnoxious and how to, I guess, get out whatever was going on, you know, from the gunk to the Kill Santa to Kick Rocks. And we even have like public education, an 8-song, I guess, concept album that you recorded on a karaoke machine. It just kind of feels like things are falling into the vortex here and coming out as music in that kind of way, right?
It's like everything I put out is a fever dream, dude. It's so odd. Like, I don't have a plan. I see, you know, a lot of these artists have like a sound, and I just don't get how they do it because, oh my God, is that boring? Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm doing, and I think that aids me in music so much.
Right.
Because, like, obviously, I don't even know what a G chord is. I know what a G chord is, but I don't know, like, again, like I said, I don't master my tracks. And then people are going to hear that and be like, that's stupid. And I go, yeah, but if I mastered my tracks, I wouldn't be able to create, like, that's, like, the only thing that I think separates me besides the fact that everything I put out is just so wildly different, it's like that kind of captures my sound, I think. Just being so odd, like it's so odd and it's so unorganized, and I just like it that way.
It's so funny because it's like I have questions here that are like, what is the plan for this or that? And you're just here telling me I have no plan. I have no plan.
Dude, I am putting out an album later this year, and I'm being so honest. I scrapped everything. The album's supposed to come out in October. I scrapped everything, and I'm just going to re-record it.
Perfect. Now, on that note, what do you feel like with Honey? What do you feel like was the biggest? Because you have to be learning shit at every phase of this process with all of these releases. So what do you feel like was the biggest lesson that you learned from this release?
I think I learned that producers are probably ripping you off. When I was recording drums, those dogs are going crazy back there.
I know.
Would you mind telling me what kind of dogs they are? I'm really curious now.
Mad. They're just mad dogs.
Yeah. They're mad dogs. What kind are they, though? Are they little or are they
Philly.
big?
They're mad Philly dogs.
Mad Philly dog? Okay. Is that a breed of dog, Philly?
Yeah, I think so. Nobody really knows what the breeds of dogs are down here, man. We just we find them.
Really?
People just find dogs around here. Yeah.
Pokemon.
Like Pokemon, exactly.
Really I hope you're not battling them. That would be very unethical.
No, they do that in Virginia, but not here.
But I think the biggest thing I learned again is like producers are kind of ripping you off, and I think this is I want to say this because it's kind of important, and I understand it's controversial, and I get heat all the time for shit that I say, but I don't think it's fair. A lot of these smaller artists, what they do is they record tracks by themselves. They usually use kind of shitty plugins, and they're just trying to get their footing. And they send their tracks off to the producer, and they charge them a wild amount to master their song. And then it just kind of comes out sounding like everything else on the radio, like that very compressed, very small, very weak sounding, I don't know, what would be akin to like modern pop music. And I think it's unfair because I think a lot of young people especially have these insane visions and like they could be making insane art, but usually it just kind of boils down to this almost bored sound because they just don't know how to do it. So I think the biggest thing I learned is that doing it yourself is the most productive way probably. And I'm not saying everybody has the tools, but I also am saying that you can get the tools for very cheap. And if you're a young artist watching, I will say that it is so much more worth it to just do it in your room than it is to go to a studio or to have a producer. Learn how to do this shit yourself, and the truth will set you free. Okay, I promise. It is so worth it. Oh, also I learned that if you put a snare mic, if you put a SM57 under a snare, it sounds better than miking the top of it. So that's important too. You get a very big good crackle there. Sound. Yes.
On that note, the last question I want to ask you, and I feel like I might already know the answer, but like the ideal future for you as a musician, as an artist, what you're working towards, what you're manifesting towards, you're doing everything yourself. Do you plan on keeping it like that? Are you going to play live? Are you going to get people on board? What do you feel like? What's the picture that you have in your head if you're working towards something?
I really like the idea of being a rock star, dude. I know it's corny, but I think it's so fun. I think it's so fun, and it's probably the one thing I strive for. I'm working on building like a very tight-knit interactive community right now. That's why I'm on I'm on everything. I'm on Discord, Bandcamp, YouTube. I upload like YouTube videos. Like I actually try to make like interesting stuff, and I do like 4-hour live streams where I just talk to people. Like I'm trying to build people and actually give them something, because I think that a lot of music influencers do this thing where they I don't know, they release a song every few weeks and they just say pre-save it, and then they don't do anything, and it's boring. And I want to do something. I want to give myself to people, kind of. I want to just be like, but also just be like, I am here to entertain you, and I will do that even if it kills me. You know, I want to. That's all I want to do, bro. Like I want to make people feel nice, you know, or sad, or I want to make people feel, you know, engaged in something. And I guess that's my only goal. I don't really plan on working with other people. I plan on being in tons of other projects and working with people in those.
Right.
But this, I don't think that I would get the same joy working with other people recording what I do. It's just not, because like I think the coolest thing is sitting down just at my laptop and being like, I want to make an album, and then 5 days later I have an entire album just from my head. And I couldn't do that with other people. It's really hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, let's play this last curveball Dave Bowie tune here that ends the Honey EP, but also begins the new journey for J-Star. This tune is called Leave Your Ticket. Rip on, everybody.